Hello, good afternoon. My name is Chris Lethem, and this show is called The Economy and You. Welcome if you haven't seen the show before. This is a show where I feature local businesses, local entrepreneurs, sometimes politicians, sometimes people who are looking to grow Hawaii, our high-tech economy. Today's guest is June Cochran. June is a photographer, and welcome to the show, June.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So the reason I asked June to come on the show today is June is kind of your typical web entrepreneur. She has sort of the beginnings of an idea, and you wanted to develop this to help you sort of build around your business. But not necessarily is it completely thought out. It's sort of growing, it's sort of coming into being as time goes by, right? Developing new ideas and new concepts.
Yes.
So that's awesome. So you have been doing wedding photography for how long now?
6 years.
6 years. And what's the name of it?
6.5.
I want to give you a plug. What's the name of your photography business?
June Cochran Photography.
Oh, yeah,
Not that difficult. You just have to know my name.
Okay. Well, June, you started this website, and I was actually quite inspired when I saw your website. I thought this was really well done. I thought it fit a very interesting need. You know, we talk about internet marketing. I've had a few people on the show where we've talked about social media marketing and how do you grow a business and how do you get your name out there. And one of the things that I found very interesting about your platform is it's not all about you.
Yeah.
It's really about other businesses and promoting other businesses, and in a way that sort of promotes your business.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was a very interesting site, and I looked at your when I looked at your website, I thought of a coffee table book.
Yes.
Because your site is actually readable.
Woo!
Yeah.
Perfect. It's doing its purpose.
Yes,
Great.
yes. Well, you know, so many times people just sort of scan a web page, right?
Yes.
They just sort of, if you go to Facebook, you're sort of looking for any keywords or something as you sort of fly through. Yeah, all these things. So tell us a little bit about your inspiration.
Yeah. Create in Hawaii really came out of, you know, as a wedding photographer, really always constantly thinking of, you know, how can I get the word out about my business? And finally one day I just got so sick of thinking about myself that I kind of, you know, stepped out of being so self-centered for a second and just thought, okay, there's so many people that have this problem. Not only other photographers, but just other small business owners. And so I just thought, okay, well, you know, is there a way for me to be the solution?
Yeah.
And then it just kind of came from there. I was like, okay, well, the other thing that happened was just seeing all these amazing entrepreneurs here. And ones that have been doing great things for a long time, but I'd never heard of. And I thought, how have I not heard of these people? Like, why isn't there some place that I know of online that's simple and straightforward that I could go to and know, like, that I could find these amazing entrepreneurs here?
Well, you know, Zig Ziglar once said, if you can help, you can get anything you want if you can help other people get what they want.
Yeah.
And in a way, you've sort of realized that statement through your website, that philosophy.
Yeah.
So what's really great about your website, I thought, was, well, because you're a photographer, I have to tell people she really takes great photography. So if you go to the site, you'll just enjoy the photography because it's really outstanding. And then the way you structured the site is very well organized.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, you know, I just wanted to keep it really simple. I wanted to keep me out of it as much as possible and keep it, you know, I'm a photographer, so it was like, okay, well, the photography needs to be beautiful. I see so many terrible websites with terrible photography. And so I wanted to keep it really clean and simple and classy and very curated and a really beautiful place because I understand that in a way I'm representing these other small businesses. And so I wanted it to be up to par to what they were doing. So. Well,
what I really appreciate was how clean the site is. And you know, with great imagery, there's also, which is also very important, is the typography. When you go to the website and you start looking at the pages, you see how clean everything is and how easy it is to read. Everything is put together in a very simple format. And that's why when I looked at it, I thought, wow, this is like a coffee table book. That's what I thought of. So anyhow, a little bit about you. You moved to Hawaii when you were what, 11?
11 years old, yes. So I've been here for a while, but I left and basically just kept coming back time and time and time again. So I finally, about 2 years ago, decided, like, okay, this is home. You know, no other place continues to draw me back like here does. And so I was kind of, 2 years ago, I was like, oh no, is this a terrible decision? This could, you know, be awful for my wedding photography business. And I just realized, no, like, it was the best decision. I love it here, and this is home to me, and I love it. I have no plans on leaving ever.
Well, you know, it's one of the challenges, of course, for people growing up in Hawaii is finding opportunities after you go to college. You get an education, and then is there anything to come home to? You know, and often there isn't sort of, okay, here's an opportunity, here's a job, come in and take this well-paying job. That doesn't happen in Hawaii.
No.
You really have to have entrepreneurial legs. You know, you have to be willing to take a few hard knocks to really to establish yourself here.
And I was actually interviewing Sam from Haleiwa Bowls on the North Shore yesterday. And that was one of the first things he said. He's like, if you live here, you know, you really need to be an entrepreneur. Like, you need to have that spirit in you. And I agree. I totally agree with that. Specifically here, and there's so much opportunity here, specifically with tourism. You know, there's so many tourists that are here. There's just so much opportunity, I feel like. So,
it's an interesting mindset, because a lot of people come back and they go, well, there's no opportunity here. On the other hand, you know, it's like,
and I thought that for a little while too, actually. I think you have to sort of move yourself into a creative space in order to find opportunities in Hawaii. And that does make it challenging. If you know, if you're not willing to stretch your mind and sort of stretch yourself, that makes it does make it tough. Well, and I think specifically here, but it's anywhere. You know, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you kind of have to have that spirit in you that's like, okay, I believe in this idea, and I'm just like leap, like go for it. You know, I think you have to have that, and I feel like that keeps growing in me, where I'm sort of almost maybe become a little bit reckless. I'm like, I can do that, and then I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do that. Like, let's just leap and try it all, and if I fail, I fail, but at least, you know,
But then you know, right?
Yeah,
you know.
then you
so
learn
one of
and
the
you try.
that's right. You know, there is value in knowing. You know, and if you tried something and it didn't work, okay, you know that doesn't work. Okay, so what do you take from that? You know, one of the things in when you sort of sum up a project at the end of the day is what were the lessons learned, and I think if you quantify those do help you the next time around, because then you see, okay, you see, okay, I can do this a different way. I know that way doesn't work, so if I try something else, you know, we'll see what happens.
Absolutely.
So you started this website, and one of the things I appreciate about your approach to this was that you didn't get yourself locked in to a sort of predefined business model.
Right. No.
Yeah, because a lot of times we use the term analysis paralysis. I've had roundtable discussions where people come in, you know, we'll do meetups and we'll get together and we'll allow people to come in and express their idea and talk about it, and have everybody come around and engage somebody in a roundtable discussion. Everybody just takes a turn. And maybe making suggestions or promoting a resource or something like that to help people build out their idea. But one of the biggest challenges is that you have people that will just analyze something to death. And I've been guilty of this too, by the way. I have to say I've accomplished the same thing, where I get locked into an idea and I don't follow it through because I'm so wrapped up in the business model. So I give you a lot of credit. I give you a lot of credit. That's huge. That's huge. When you actually just say, look, I'm just going to get started, I'm going to do something, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
And I felt bad about it for a while, because people would ask me, well, what are you doing? Like, can you explain this? I'd be like, well, I'm photographing cool people doing cool things. That's it. And they're like, well, what's your game plan? I'm like, to continue photographing cool people doing cool things. And that's all I know. Like, was the plan. But I honestly, I think that, you know, it really came from a place that wasn't looking for money. I think that's what freed me up. I didn't feel like, oh, I have to have this massive business plan with this end goal of I need X amount of dollars by the end of this. I just was coming from a place of genuinely wanting to give back, of wanting to create a space for other people. And I committed to a year. I thought, okay, well, I'm going to do this for a year. You know, if it's able to be monetized, great. You know, if it's not, it's going to be probably a lot of fun. And I'm probably going to meet a lot of great people.
Are you having fun?
It's the most fun thing I've ever done.
Is that right?
I've met the most incredible people that inspire me, and I hope I get to do it forever. I really do. I mean, I hope it does get to, you know, become monetized, but it's the most fun thing I've ever done. And I think that also comes with that when you're using your gifts and your talents to give back, you just get this incredible sense of purpose and I can't even describe it. It's like a bug crawled in me every day, and I just like love life 10 times more than ever. And I genuinely believe that it's because I'm doing something on a daily basis that's giving back, and it's not just the dollar signs aren't in it yet. So that's not the purpose. So
well, Craigslist kind of started off that way, you know. They did everything for free. You know, I don't know if people realize that, but Craigslist is this sort of free platform that somebody said, well, I have a great idea. I haven't fully thought it out yet. It's not been fully vetted, but I'm going to let people put ads on here, and I'm not going to charge them anything.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And of course, it's grown into this, you know, gigantic, huge thing. Yeah. So you never know. You never know what's going to happen.
You never know. And I very much believe in it, especially now. I mean, we're just a little bit over 4 months old now. And to see how drawn people have been to it, I absolutely believe that it will be something even greater and wonderful. But I think people are drawn to it because there's an integrity behind it and a simplicity. Like on the site, there isn't all these flashing advertisements anywhere.
No.
Like it's so clean and it's so simple. And so I think that's one of the reasons why people are drawn to it. And so
you know what I found is it's pervasively about excellence. You know, when I read the articles, they're well written. There's not a lot of, you know, there was no sort of, okay, let me get cute with the worded, you know, the verbiage or anything like that. It's really just tells a nice story when you talk to people. It promotes them in a way that I think businesses and people want to hear about a business. You know, you know, people are so quick to want to monetize or want to sell their product. And I think what we're learning today, especially in the social media space, is that we're learning it really is about the integrity of that business, of those people, and their dream, and what they were trying to achieve, more than, gee, I've got something that I can commoditize, and I can sell a whole lot of it and get rich quick. You know, it's about people who do a certain kind of work, craftsmen. You've got some really interesting people. The treehouse guy. I love the treehouse. That's awesome.
He's my favorite, and I think he's actually everybody's favorite.
Is that right?
Yeah. I continually hear about him, and it's interesting because, you know, most of the people that have been featured have been like, oh yes, I'm so honored, I'm so privileged, let's do this, and they're so excited. And with him, you know, he let me stay there, and then I was like, okay, great, let's do the shoot and let's get you featured. And he's like, you know, I don't think I want to be featured. And I was like, what? I'm so confused by this, you know? And so we just ended up talking for hours, and it you know, really was because he built this out of passion, you know, and because he had a love for it, you know, not because he wanted a bunch of money. And so for him, he was like, I have enough people stay here, you know, I just wanted you to stay because you were creative and, you know, doing something, you know, And this is the gentleman here? Yeah, that's Sky. And he's so, like, that's probably my favorite article too. I mean, just everything that he said, it really, really inspired me. I actually got a little teary-eyed because we did the interview over the phone, and so I'm like, you know, typing as he talks. I was getting a little teary-eyed.
But it sounds like he was really driven by excellence as well.
Oh, absolutely. And people thought he was crazy, you know, because it took him, I can't remember if it was 6 or 7 years, but the first treehouse took him 6 or 7 years to build by himself. So everybody thought he was crazy, and when I did that interview, I know I felt that way. Like I was like, nobody knows what I'm doing with this website. Everybody keeps asking me my business plan and what my end goal is and like what I'm doing, and I'm just trying to give back, and I'm having a blast. That's what I'm doing, you know. And
Sounds like
I felt that kind of kindred spirit with him. That's like we believe in what we're doing, and people will get it. You
have really great enthusiasm too, by the way. I love talking with you. We're gonna take a quick commercial break. I'm Chris Lethem. This is The Economy and You, and our guest today is June Cochran from CreateInHawaii.com. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Okay, this is ThinkTech Hawaii, and it's Wednesday. Every Wednesday is Energy Wednesday here in Hawaii, the state of clean energy. 4 to 5 p.m. every Wednesday. Come and listen to us. And just to show you what I mean, I'm going to ask Sharon to tell us more.
Come and see us every Wednesday, as Jay said. And we have people like Jim Albers from HECO here and co-host Ray Starling here every Wednesday. We not only go on Olelo and OC16, but also stream live. So please come visit us, hear about the latest in clean energy.
Okay, Jim, you've been here. You got any comment on all this?
As important as energy is in all of our lives today, this is a great forum and a great format to vet those issues. So I encourage everybody to listen in and participate.
Okay, Ray, what do you think for a close?
Well, I think this is the greatest show in the energy world here in Hawaii. You can come here every week, 1 hour, and catch the latest on what's happening and hear from the people who really know what's going on, like Jim Alberts. We appreciate your coming today.
Thank you.
Ray Starling, Sharon Moriwaki, Jim Alberts, and Jay Fidel here in Hawaii, the state of clean energy, 4 to 5 p.m. Wednesday. Aloha.
Aloha.
Hi, I'm Chris Lethem, and the show's called The Economy and You. Welcome back. Today's guest is June Cochran from CreateInHawaii.com. And when we left off, we were talking with June about one of her one of the businesses that you featured on your site.
Yes.
It's a gentleman named, what's his name again?
Sky Peterson.
Sky Peterson. And Sky built this treehouse kind of hotel.
He's built 2 of them.
He's built 2
on
of
his
them.
3rd.
Oh my.
Yeah.
So he's still building.
He's still building.
Wow,
And
that's
he's
amazing.
fallen off of them. I mean, he does it just because he loves it.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
awesome.
That's why. So.
And so, what was some of the when you were interviewing him? You said he kind of got you teary-eyed
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah, he did.
Is this because of his passion for what he does?
It was because of his passion, and everything that he was saying just really resonated with me. You know, about you know, just living from a place of doing what you love.
Yeah.
You know, and that being so important, and living this simple life. You know, that he wasn't looking for. You know, I mean, we always hear about it like, you know, cars won't make you happy and big houses won't make you happy and all these things. But he knows that, and he lives that. And he just has this beautiful, simple life, and he appreciates nature to this wonderful degree that got me inspired. I'm like, man, I need to just live in a tent now. You know, like that's all I need to do, and I'll be so happy.
You know, you can go live out of the back of your car. You know?
Yes, I was completely convinced I could do that when I got off the phone with him. I was like,
great. That's awesome.
Perfect.
Well, I was taking a look at your site, and you sort of organized it in a couple of different ways.
Yes.
One by category.
Yep.
Services, products.
Yep. Places to stay.
Places to stay. Food.
Food, shopping.
Yeah.
Yeah, places to eat, shopping. Yeah, trying to kind of hit on all those major things that, you know, we all want to know about.
Sort of typical categories, right?
Typical
And you call it
categories.
a wayfinding.
Yeah.
I like that term. Where did you come up with
too.
that term, wayfinding?
You know, I totally cannot take credit for that. I, thank goodness, work in a co-working space called Box Shelly that I love and adore, and one of the best decisions I ever made was having a space there. But there's a woman named Melissa Kim that started House of Maven that's a working space for women.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, Melissa, I need your help. Like, I'm not good with words. Like, like everybody keeps asking me what I'm doing, and I don't have this great, beautiful answer. And so, you know, we were just like going back and forth, pinging off of each other back. What about this? What about that? And she goes, well, what about, you know, wayfinding? And I was like, well, it's also a guide though. And it was like, okay, what about a wayfinding guide? I was like, that makes perfect sense.
That's perfect.
I love
that
exactly
term.
what it is.
Yeah.
It's that, you know, okay, you're here. I want to know all the, you know, small businesses or the cool craftspeople doing great things. Like, where do I go? How do I figure out where they are? And so it's just that way of being like, hey, there they are.
Yes,
that little
yes.
wayfinding guide.
You know, one of the things in Hawaii is we have these great trails for hiking.
Yes.
Now, you know, and I'm an advocate. I mean, I like to hike. If I don't hike once a week, I think I start to get the jitters. I need to be hiking somewhere. And the thing is that people come here. We have 8-9 million visitors a year. And the only thing they really know about is Diamond Head, maybe Manoa, you know, maybe Cocoa Head. But beyond that, we have so many beautiful hiking trails.
Yes.
And there are so many, and just like the hiking trails, there's lots of very interesting businesses that exist, that thrive here, that a lot of people who come here, you know, they don't know about because they never escape Waikiki.
Right.
And it just, what I love about what you're doing is you're presenting those opportunities for people who come here. Maybe people who live here, great, that's wonderful.
Yes,
but also for
absolutely.
the people who come here for a holiday and want to do something unique or have a different kind of experience.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about what you're doing. Yeah. I think that's what, and I saw Wayfinding Guide, you know, because it's like helping people find their way. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's fantastic.
Absolutely. And it's a fine line to kind of, because, you know, I'm trying as best as possible to kind of ride that middle line between it's for locals, you know, but it's also for people visiting. And I know if I came here and I didn't live here, I would want to know about this site. And truthfully, I'd want to know about the Instagram feed that we have, because every week a local takes it over and that local shares their favorites. And so it's every day you're just like, oh, you know, so-and-so that lives there loves Haleiwa bowls, or, you know, whatever it may be. And they talk about, too, I think what's so inspiring is they talk about other people and other makers doing all sorts of things that inspire them, and they just talk a little about why, you know, they inspire them, why they love it. And so it's great.
Now here's on your homepage right now. I guess you feature different companies on your homepage.
Yes.
This was this is a soap company.
Yes.
And I bought some soap. I don't know if it's the same company or not, but I did go and I bought some locally made soap the other day. And I got to tell you, it was great. I was on the North Shore. I was up in Haleiwa. Yes. And somebody up there was making soap, and I like, it just smells so good.
So good.
You know, and you know, us guys, you know, our bathrooms don't actually always smell that good. So,
just
putting some soap in there and some stuff that makes it smell good.
Yeah, no, it's this soap, the one that you just saw on there. I kid you not. I mean, I'm really picky when it comes to smells, and every single one of those soaps is a different smell, and it smells amazing. And actually, so I was actually given it as a gift from Owens & Company, which is also going to be featured on there. And I was like, oh, this smells so good. Like, oh, I love this. And I thought, oh, I bet it's just this one. This smells good. And then when I, you know, smell all of them, I was like, oh my gosh, like they smell so good. And the packaging was so pretty, I didn't even open up the first one that I got as a gift. So Lisa, actually, after I did the shoot, she literally like handed me like 4 soaps without packaging because I told her I hadn't even opened up my first one. So.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but it's great. Yeah.
Yeah. No, how long has she been doing soap?
Oh gosh.
Did you get any background? What kind of background did you get on her?
I don't remember. You know, I don't know if she even said how long in there it had been.
And this is Lisa LaRue?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
and she's on Maui.
Which I was so excited because she's actually our first Maui feature. And that's actually something that was really important to me about this site too, is that I wanted to make sure that it was about all the islands. I didn't want it, there's so many things here in you know, Honolulu that it's like, oh, I wanted it to really be all the islands. And what's so fun is like the treehouse, right? Like so many people here haven't heard about that. And there's so many things on the other islands that us that live here on Oahu haven't heard about. And same thing, like the people on Maui haven't heard about things over here. And so it's so fun and it's exciting for everybody to learn.
By the way, which is a great argument for bringing back the super ferry. So
yes, yes.
If we have the super ferry, then people from the different islands can go back and forth more easily and experience all the wonderful, weird, wonderful things that we have with all the islands, you know.
Make my job easier.
Absolutely.
Selfishly, let's just do it for free in Hawaii. We'll just have the Creighton Hawaii ferry.
Yeah. We need a Creighton Hawaii ferry. That's what we need. Absolutely. Well, maybe if we made the ferry here and we made it to look like a giant canoe with an outrigger, nobody would oppose it, you know, because then we could say it's like part of a Hawaiian culture, right? We'll just make it look like a Hawaiian canoe.
We could do that. I think that we could do it.
Yeah, I think that's what we need to do.
Let's wheedle a boat.
And what was that, the Big Island?
Oh, was
that? So we got something from the Big Island? Do we have something to put up here?
Big Island bees, Wendy, yay!
Yay, what is Big Island bees?
Honey. Oh, but they do more than honey, though. They have a bunch of products, like made from beeswax, and I mean, they're doing very well. They had a big facility
so
they
make products derived from beeswax?
From bees on the Big Island. Yeah.
So what is your favorite here?
Oh man, you know, I'd have to say Sky with the Volcano Treehouse, because he really, everybody that I feature has actually become a friend, like a legitimate friend, which is so wonderful. But you know, Sky
I gotta
really.
tell you, I'm a little biased. I'm a little biased toward the Bali cottage because I lived in Indonesia for 2 years, so I'm a little biased.
I know. You know what? And honestly, I can't, because I look at that and like, you know, I'm attached to those places too because I now know the people that founded it. I adore them. Karen and Ron, they actually just emailed me to thank me because Ellen DeGeneres contacted them and wants to feature them on her show next month.
How awesome is that?
Yeah, which was so cool. And they were like, we think it's because you took such beautiful photos. Because they didn't have great photos before I was there. And actually what I did, since I don't, you know, charge me on the site, I said, hey, you know, I want to feature you on the site, but what I'll do, if you let me stay there, then I'll give you the images, you know, and it'll be a trade. And so they were all about it. And so, you know, fortunately, that worked out splendid for them because Ellen DeGeneres came knocking at their door, you know.
That's pretty cool.
But
I hope she didn't hit him up for a free night, though. You know, I'm sure she just wanted to hit him up for a free night.
Right. She's like, I'll feature you. Let me stay for a month, and then we'll.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a fair trade, though. If you get national exposure, you're gonna get on the DeGeneres show. That's awesome.
Yes.
And then there was one more on there. I think it was from the Big Island. That was the hamburger joint.
Village Burger. Yes.
Village Burger.
And you know, it's Wendy from the Big Island Bees, and this is how it kind of all goes. Or Wendy's like, oh, you know, you should feature. You have to feature Edwin. You have to feature, you know, the Village Burger. And so, but I was only there for one more day.
Oh yeah,
so
it's making me hungry. You need to get rid of that picture off.
It's incredible. Like, I drove an hour twice.
Really?
Yes, to go eat one of those burgers, and it was totally worth it. But what was funny is that I left a voicemail at the burger joint, right? Thinking, no, Edwin's not going to get this. Edwin is not working behind the counter, you know? And so I left a voicemail, drove all the way there, and I'm eating a burger just like, well, it won't be featured, but I'm so glad that, like, this burger is amazing. And then I hear my voice in the background. I'm like, wait, that's me. And they're playing my voicemail, and I hear them going, oh, we just delete those. And I was like, wait. And so I turned around, I was like, don't delete it. Like, that's me. Wendy sent me here. And so then, you know, because of that just chance, you know, moment, I was able to get a hold of Edwin and, you know, adore Edwin. He's doing such great things there. I mean, everything that's there, it's like, if it's at all possible for it to be locally sourced, he does it. It's like ketchup and tomatoes from the Big Island, and, you know, everything. And so,
and that's a real theme today, isn't it? I mean, having food that's locally sourced and promoting and supporting your local farmers.
Yes, it's
that's
huge.
Awesome.
It's
that's
huge.
Awesome.
It's, you know, the same thing. Everybody, when he started, was like, oh, your burgers are going to be so expensive. There's a McDonald's or Burger King, whatever it was, across the street. Like, this isn't going to work. You know, and he's like, well, I'm going to do it, you know, and so he did it. And then he's blowing up. He's going to have a second location, I believe, now, and he's doing great. And they've got long lines, and TripAdvisor put him on those, like, top 10 burgers in the nation, and he's doing so well, you know. So there's definitely this run. It's easy for me to be excited about this because every single person that's on there gets me jazzed.
Well, I got to tell you, we're going to go to commercial because I'm getting really hungry right now after seeing all that burger, and so I'm going to go get a burger. I'll be right back. Well, this is the Economy and You. I'm Chris Lethem, and we'll be right back. Thank you.
We're here with Hunter Haviland because he is a member of our panel on February 26th. We're going to talk about Hawaii, the state of unfunded liabilities. Hi, Hunter.
Hi, Jay.
So what does it look like from your point of view, being on that panel?
Well, part of my work is with the Asia Pacific Center for Regenerative Design. And so with that, we're kind of taking a broader notion of when we talk about liabilities, what are some of the external factors, right? So if we're talking about sustainability across the globe, resilience to natural disasters, our use of natural resources, and how those things do or don't get incorporated into our current understandings of the state of the state.
Yeah, and thus the liabilities, and thus the economy. Yeah. So that's February 26th. It's a Thursday. It's at Laniakea. It starts at 12 noon. Come down 11:30 for lunch. Check out our website to sign up, ThinkTechHawaii.com. Hunter is one of 7 speakers. We'll be trying to talk to some of the others, too, let you know what they're going to do. And sign up. We'll see you there. It'll be important. It's one of the most important things we can think of. Aloha.
Aloha.
I got
some of these I don't.
Hi, this is Chris Lethem. Today's show's called The Economy and You. I guess it's always called The Economy and You when we're on. Anyway, our guest today is June Cochran from Create in Hawaii. And we're just having a really great time here on our little break talking about some of the sort of exciting stuff that she's doing.
Yeah.
we wanted to talk a little bit about some of the weird and wonderful challenges that you've had
Yes.
with
Yes.
getting this thing up and running.
Yes.
So why don't you give us a little bit of that? Just to inspire some of those people out there who are trying to get an idea going.
Yes.
And let them know there is light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not always a train.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I think the biggest challenge at first is, I think for almost anybody, is simply just doing it. Like, we all have these ideas, and we're all so busy at the same time. And so it becomes so easy to not do it. And to just like, oh, well, later. And so I think there has to be some sort of fire in you, and I wish I could say where that comes from. But you have to have some sort of fire in you that gets you to actually make an action or a step that gets you going. And I know for me, it was kind of like, once I paid for the website design, because I'm not using the same website I originally did because it didn't work very well after I paid for it. But
so you've had a couple of attempts there. Okay,
that was a challenge, and I'm still in that challenge actually of trying to work all those things out financially with that company. But anyway. Yeah, so I think just doing it, first of all, just starting it, and then, once, I would almost say, like, gotta do one thing that really, like, almost like a proclamation that's gonna hold you accountable to it. So, Create in Hawaii is gonna have a party in, a month, and it's not all planned out. It's not like, oh, all these things are all planned as one of the things. We need to have an event. I want to have an event. And so one of the things is like, okay, well, I have the basics. Let's announce it. Because once it's announced, now I'm held accountable to be doing it.
Then you're committed,
right?
aren't you?
I got to do it. I got to figure it out. I don't know how it's going to work, but I got to figure it out. And that's kind of the same thing. I mean, that's really, same with Create in Hawaii. It's like, I told everybody, I didn't tell them what it was, but I told them, I'm going to announce something new that I'm doing in, however long. And so everybody's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So I kind of had this, like, the thing that I had to do. I was held accountable.
Yes.
So.
And you held yourself accountable.
Yeah, and it wasn't. I mean, it was difficult because I hadn't really seen it other places. I had seen kind of similar things. And there are magazines that talk about small businesses. Yes. But I hadn't really seen what Create in Hawaii is done. So there were challenges of just, what am I doing? What am I doing?
You're operating.
How is this going to work?
And you don't have a programming background, right?
No.
You don't have a web design background?
No.
You have a background in typography?
No, I took a typography class about 10 years ago.
About 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Well, the principles are still the same. But,
It is sans serif and serif, but when it comes to all of those things, the design element of things, including typography, and my photography, it's genuinely a feeling. Like, I think that some people, it's like an instinct. You don't have to be told, okay, a photograph should follow the rule of thirds. There's just something in you that knows when you see something that feels right.
I don't know what that means, a rule of thirds. I have no idea.
She does. Guaranteed some people know what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because so then you sort of so that you were built, but you didn't hire a developer.
Well, originally, I actually, because with my old photography site, it had been off of WordPress and it had been a template. And so I hired a company. I wanted a custom design because I wanted it to be really beautiful and unique. And, the design of it was beautiful in the beginning. For anybody that saw it in the beginning, it looks really different. But it was beautiful and people liked it. It did well, but it didn't function properly. Things would just up and go missing. And so I was kind of like trying to figure it out because I didn't want to be charged by the hour to, for them to come in and fix it after I just paid them.
And programmers aren't cheap.
So, so finally when I was like, I can't keep doing this. Like, I can't keep trying to fix this site that's beautiful but doesn't work. And so then it was like, okay, let's just get a cheap template real quick for like a holding place, and then kind of decided that Squarespace was probably going to be the best move. But same thing, I mean, businesses are always changing, right?
So Squarespace is an all-in-one solution.
An all-in-one solution.
So they host the website and they give you the tools for designing the website.
It's hosted by Bluehost.
Oh, it's through Bluehost. Okay.
That's what Create in Hawaii is hosted through. Okay. They're pretty much just kind of like, I don't even know how you would describe it, that the design element on top, it gives you that ability to easily put things on the site and adjust things and do things. And at first I was totally actually really intimidated, which surprised me because I'd been, doing WordPress stuff forever. So I was like, oh yeah, you did this and that and this widget and these things. But then I was like, Squarespace, oh, what? And I don't know how to do this. But if you want something bad enough, you're just gonna keep going. So I just kept going to figure it
definitely,
out.
One of the things that I tell young people, especially those that are getting involved in either web design or software development, is that perseverance pays off.
Yes.
You have to persevere.
Yes.
You have to decide that you're going to learn this.
Yes.
In fact, I can tell you even the last 2 days I've spent learning various JavaScript frameworks, and 12, 13 hours a day sitting in front of a computer, studying and writing code and trying to figure out what the way that it works.
Yeah.
And the only way it doesn't require that you be a rocket scientist, but you have to be willing to commit yourself to figuring it out.
Yes, yes. And knowing that there's most likely channels for you to ask or figure it out. I think sometimes we stop there, right? Like we're like, I don't know how to do this, I give up. But if we know, like, okay, there's a support. I mean, how many things have, support emails and live chats and calls, I mean, almost everything does. So,
there's always that connectivity, right? There's always somebody you can reach out to. Yeah.
I mean, Squarespace probably hates me because, like, every, I don't know, like, every other day, I'm like emailing them, I can't figure out how to do this. And they'll be like, here's the link.
But it's job security for them, right? That's job security for those folks because they know we got enough of you out there. They know they've got a job, right?
And they actually have great customer support. They're actually, I was so impressed with their customer support. Like they're so on it, and I probably would have left had their customer support not have been as good as it was.
But we're not plugging Squaresoft.
No, I'm not.
Of course not.
I'm not. Don't use them or do.
No, it's awesome. It's great. It's great. Because here's the thing is, one of the reasons for me having this show, my motivation for coming and doing this show every week is that I want to see our high-tech ecosystem grow. I really do. To do that, we need people engaging in hackathons, in competitions, startup weekends.
Yeah.
And we want people, coming to the meetups. If you haven't been to meetup.com, it's a great place to go to find out what's going on in the community in the high-tech space. There's all kinds of different meetups that talk about all different types of technologies. A lot from you to a place where you can go and engage people. Generally, they're free. Sometimes they cost $1 or $2, but incredibly inexpensive. And you meet people who just are, who want to be able to help people do something exciting.
Yeah.
And it's really driven toward excellence. And the thing is that what you see in this high-tech community, and I'm sure you've experienced this, is this place where people are so incredibly supportive of each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You're talking about Melissa
Absolutely.
Kim.
Yeah.
Melissa Kim.
Yeah.
Here's a young lady who's decided she wants to help other women be successful in the technology space.
Yeah.
And it's not just web design. I mean, it's whatever entrepreneurial aspirations that people have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, her thing, you have to be female. That's the only part with her specifically. But Box Jelly, I mean, it's amazing. As a part of the Box Jelly, work in the Nook right next to 3 tech guys, and it's awesome. I love it. We have a blast, but they are so supportive. I mean, I even remember when I was trying to set up my, June at createhawaii.com, like, I can't figure this out, which was rather simple once I got them to be like, show me, it's like, so they did it. So
yeah, it's like, it's kind of, when you can go in and help somebody like that too, because you watch people and they'll be sitting there and they're just struggling for, an hour and a half. They're still just like shaking their head. I have no idea what I'm doing. Yes. And somebody walks over there and go, oh, this is what you're trying to do. And they go, and 5 seconds later it's done.
And that's, I actually feel like it's just in general, people are more helpful, I think, than what we maybe give them credit for. Like, I think we maybe have this idea of like, we're all in this rat race. And there is a portion, right? We all have to, pay for things. But people I have found specifically through Create in Hawaii, I mean, there were entrepreneurs I was reaching out to before the site was up. And so I was really like, what am I gonna tell them? And so I just emailed them honestly and was like, I'm this photographer with this dream, you know, of having this site, and I want to feature you on it. You know, here's my wedding photography site if you want to see what my photography looks like. And I was fortunate, they actually saw the wedding photography and they're like, you're a great photographer. Like, yes, great. And, you know, like Autumn and Pooch of the Fresh Shave that's on Kauai, they're the first ones featured. And they were so helpful. They're like, let's move the trailer to, you know, a shady spot by our house. Like, they did all of these things, you know,
to help,
just to help.
Get nice photographs.
Just to help, yeah, like, this
wow.
is going to be great. How can we, and, you know, they were featured and they wanted to be featured, of course, but, you know, they hadn't even seen the site. So I have found through this, you know.
Now, what kind of a business do they have?
Pico, they are a florist. They do flowers.
They do flowers.
Yes, but it's like artistic. And now there's Brew Bar there, which is a coffee shop. So it's honestly, it's experience. Their boutique is an experience.
Now, there's also another company that does chocolate, which is near and dear to my girlfriend's heart.
Yes.
Do we have anything on the company that does chocolate?
That was a part of it.
Oh, part of it?
You know what's so funny to me is that, you know, sometimes I feel like people must think that I'm faking it all the time when I talk about these businesses, because I feel like every time I go to write something, I'm like, it's the best chocolate in the world. And people are like, this lady must be a liar. You know, like, because everything she says, it's like the best soap in the world and the best this. But it is. And so it is. I mean, that, honestly, Monterey chocolate actually is the best chocolate I've ever had. And I'm like a chocoholic. So, you know, it says a lot for me to say it's the best chocolate I've ever had, but I mean it. It's
just an experience. It's the experience,
right? It's the experience, and yes, Create in Hawaii is all about that wayfinding guide to special experiences here and people that aren't anywhere else.
And we have a tradition in my family. You know, when my daughters would have a birthday, I would not buy them a gift. I didn't buy them gifts because, to me, if you buy a present, it lasts for 3 months, 6 months, a year. But a new experience lasts a lifetime.
I do the same thing with my nieces and a nephew.
Yes,
I have 3 nieces and a nephew, and I don't buy them gifts. I have auntie days with them.
You have auntie days. Okay, that's awesome.
So it's like, for their birthday, it's like, we're going to go on an adventure, you know, and like, that's what we do. We're going to go, and I try to make it new and exciting and every time. But
so
that's for that reason.
Yeah, for that reason. I think, you know, when you take people out and you do something and it's experiential, it's like going to a great restaurant, you know. I go to a great restaurant not because I want to have the same food I had at home. I want to have something unique or something special. Something that I walk away from that meal and go, wow, that was awesome. You know, whether it's really, you know, having great company, having great food, sometimes a little good wine, you know, it's good too. But it all, you know, it's all, but it's...
Where's my wine?
Yes, So it's all really about the experience, and that's what I love about what your platform is, because it is experiential. And it does have, and it's like, it's the beginning, I think, of something really wonderful. And I hope that I'll have an opportunity to contribute some interesting things to your site as somebody who actually spends a lot of time in front of the computer learning how to do development. Which is, if you don't see me here and you don't see me out on the streets, probably because I'm at home studying programming of some sort, or I'm working on legislation or something of that nature. So I'm really excited for what you have. I'd like to see it continue to grow. I think it will.
It is.
I think at some point, the way it's going to monetize itself is just going to sort of come and just sort of manifest itself. So. Again, thank you. Congratulations.
My pleasure.
And thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
I'm Chris Lethem. This is The Economy and You. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next week. Aloha.